Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube. Welcome to Jibber. As always, I am your host, Skajaramas, otherwise known as Tone Shift. And with me today, we have an assortment of people. We have, sitting there, being all purple and shit, Darkness.
Hello again.
We have just kind of hanging out in the background, staring into your soul, Paladin.
Honestly, that's starting to get tiresome.
What, you standing in the background staring into everyone's soul?
Yes.
No, whatever. Coming in from flying off from off screen from the right is Malifor to beat the loving of that joke back into your skull.
Yep, it's me again.
Yep. We also happen to have the author of the Change series, author of Soaring on Little Wings, and co-author on many Idiocyverse stories, and the co-writer on the Dr. Hooves project, Tom117Z, just kind of smiling at the only other Brit in Jibber Jabber.
Well, us Brits gotta stick together. We're in a sea of Yanks.
Indeed.
And lastly, we've got Small Tux just kind of chilling out on Tom's head.
Hi.
Welcome, Tuck.
Get it off.
You're gonna need more than that to get me off.
Oh, fucking hell.
No, I
Back to
didn't mean
Let
this.
me get a crowbar.
Please, just call the exterminator.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to wait for him to have a blank moment, then get rid of him.
It has so many memes.
That tiny... How can a vest that tiny have so many memes in it? It shouldn't be
He
possible!
finds a way.
But yet it's remarkable.
It is my power as a meme lord.
Meme finds a way.
The meme.
The memes never die.
Oh god. Alright.
Alright, so, how's everyone's week been?
Tiring, but good.
Terrific.
It's been
Tiring. Had to work.
I mean, Tom, didn't you go LARPing?
I did, yes. I just got back a couple hours ago.
If you wind up going into an improvisation time, maybe you could talk about that a little.
I mean, I can tell you how our local healer got a ring of hope, but instead of giving people hope, it drains the good out of people and has made her into a colossal bitch. I see.
Yes.
Okay.
okay.
And she acts out very well.
Well then.
Stories for
Oh
later.
my.
Yep. And we found said ring in a murder sex dungeon.
Oh.
Hope, everyone.
Fucking hell.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Tony,
Hey,
gotta get him into that.
We just went there to see if everything was alright, and then we got dragged into that shit. So that was...
And amused.
Oh my god. Okay. Don't do that. That's my
Whoa!
job. Don't make that sound. That's my job.
Stop, both of you.
No
before
turn,
I only
actually.
go
Wow.
into your house with a crowbar
It seems we're at an
and watch
impasse.
you while you sleep.
Whew.
Anyway,
No. Anyways. So, we got a line of 4 topics for today. First one I kind of want to bring up is I want to go into more detail about the hiatus of Change Queen of the Hive. I posted a video on this last...
Boo, pitchforks, riots, agony, cats and dogs living together.
I mean,
Hey, Tom, you've got the torches.
on an unrelated note, Amazon sells pitchforks through their Prime program. Links are in the description. Anyways, so but to be more serious about this, I already explained this in the video I posted on Tuesday, but I do want to reiterate it just in case anyone who watches this missed that, and go into more detail. So, yes, my reading of Change Queen of the Hive is going on an indefinite hiatus. And my reasoning for this, like I stated in that video, is mostly to avoid burnout. Burnout is the biggest bane of my existence on this channel, and that's what led to me disappearing for like 3 fucking years after making it 44 or so chapters into Forgiveness Pending. I got that far into Forgiveness Pending, which itself, the transition from Memory Pending to Forgiveness Pending was pretty goddamn seamless. and the break between was very short. And couple that with the fact that not only was I dealing with crippling depression at the time, but the amount of editing that I had to put into it was colossal. Working on Forgiveness Pending was becoming more of a chore than it was a fun hobby. And the same basic problem is starting to apply to Change Queen of the Hive, which is why I'm putting it on hiatus so I can have time to recharge my batteries before it gets to a point where I'm completely alienated from that series in general. The first story in that series was a good 60 chapters long, 60 plus chapters. By my standards, that's a very long time investment because I only did, once I fully structured things with Patreon in like June or July or something, I only did 2 chapters in it every week. Like that was my structure. That was how I did things. And with a story that long, 2 chapters every week, that's about 30 weeks. That's a long fucking time. And it's more or less the same chapter count, maybe a little longer for Queen of the Hive, with the same basic format of 2 chapters every week. And even then, I had to not record in several of those weeks due to extenuating circumstances like insomnia, smoke, a sore throat, etc. Hell, family visiting interrupted my ability to record for an entire week once. So, you get the idea there. It's a long project and a very, very long time investment for me. It's one of those things where it's pretty much felt like one continuous project for damn near 2 years now. I started it in February of last year. We've almost frickin' reached February of next year. Like we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. It's on the horizon. Working on the same project for that long, for someone like me, is eventually going to get tiresome with the same cast of characters, with their same range of personalities and personas, and the same list of voices with the same style of narration from the author. It's still all really good, but considering I have to read through a chapter before I record a chapter to minimize bloopers and mistakes and maximize my performance, and considering I already read through both of these stories once on their own already, that means I've read every single one of the chapters I've done a reading of 3 times. I have some of this shit memorized, and while that might be fun in some instances, it's actually detrimental to my capacity to do the reading justice in this context. And above that, it's just it was getting tiresome. As I said, it was becoming a chore. So, gonna put it aside for a while. And I do...
That's the wise thing to do.
Yeah. I'll probably be coming back to it after the story I have lined up for the Monday, Tuesday slot to fill in for it. We'll see. Hell, after I finish with Changeling and Pony Courtship Rituals, I might pick it up after that and just move it to the Thursday, Friday slot until I'm done with the previous one. Who knows?
Have you already found something to fill the slots in, or are you still looking?
I already found something, man. In fact, I'm about to announce it. That's the next frickin' topic. I'm going to announce it.
Whoa.
Yeah, so... But, yeah, just... Anyway. So,
Transitioning skills at 1,000.
yes. So, the next story on the itinerary to fill in for Change Queen of the Hive on the Monday and Tuesday slot is called Me, You, and a Library for Two. It is a romance story, slice of life, with a relatively good number of chapters. I think somewhere between 20 and 40. Not sure. Haven't actually counted. With, and the basic... In fact, hold on. Let me actually go pull up the story itself so I can read off the description here. Probably should have done that in advance, come to think of it, but whatever. The story just also is written by the author known as Dull Mist, who sadly has not been online since June of last year. But anyways...
So wait, how'd you get permission to read a story?
Oof.
Well, as you all know, typically I ask before I do readings of stories. I ask for permission. But it's really more of a common courtesy and etiquette thing. Most of the time, people say that they'll always say yes. In fact, a lot of people have been surprised when I asked them, just expecting me to do it without asking. It's a common courtesy thing. It's etiquette. But in the event of a response being unlikely, I've come to the decision that if a response from the author is unlikely, I'll still notify them that I'm doing the thing and link them to it once the first chapters are up, but I won't hold myself to needing their permission under those circumstances because they probably won't ever respond anyway, and that just and if they're never going to respond, that implies to me that they just don't care enough to be bothered. So why would they give a damn one way or the other if I'm doing a reading? If I'm wrong and he tells me to stop, I will. But otherwise, I'm going to push forward with it. Now, the description of the story reads as follows. Silver Quill's childhood crush was a simple, fleeting thing, although one that he didn't really understand. But when he finally meets the pony that interested him so many years ago, his normally calm and organized mind is thrown for a loop. Now he has to get his feelings under control and not make a complete fool of himself while trying his hardest to get rid of this cursed writer's block that got him here in the first place. Easier said than done. Now, the tags of the story are romance, comedy, and slice of life, with the character tags being Twilight, Luna, OC, and Main 6. It is an older story, as it was published back in 2012 and finished in October of the following year, so 2013. So it's a much older one, but from my memory, even if there are like grammar errors or flow mistakes here and there, it was a goodie. I remember being well and truly invested into the story and the proceedings, so I'm probably going to have a good time going through it. Malifor, are you fucking bored?
No, I'm just yawned because no, I'm not bored.
I'm not bored, just yawn.
Well, to break the epic story.
I didn't get much
Well
sleep
done.
tonight.
He's all talking, though. You just hear.
Tonight, really?
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't mean last
mean
night,
last
because if you haven't got much
last
sleep tonight, that's
yeah.
kind of expected
Please
because you're still
continue
awake.
before
okay. Anyways, so I do plan on throwing together a trailer of some description for this after today's episode of Jibber Jabber is done. But for those of you few people who actually decide to watch this show, allow me to go ahead and give you the expected release date for the first chapters of Me, You, and a Library for Two. Now, this is if everything goes well and nothing forces me to, postpone, but the plan is the first chapter of Me, You, and a Library for Two will be recorded and uploaded to Patreon for my patrons tomorrow. And as following with my upload format and tradition, those chapters that chapter will then become available on YouTube on the 23rd, with chapter 2 following on the next day on Tuesday, or whatever the next day is. Yeah, Tuesday. So, oh shit, excuse me. So
Now
yeah.
who's making a fool of himself?
Nice.
Yes. But, yeah, so that is the announcement of Me, You, and a Library for Two, the next reading on my channel. I hope I do it justice, and I hope you guys enjoy it, but only time will tell. I'm not so pompous as to assume that it's gonna be a masterpiece until whether or not it's actually done, and even then, I'm gonna criticize the fuck out of myself. That's just healthy.
After the trailer, look in the link of the description to buy the season pass and get the DLC.
Oh yeah, the first episode's free, but if you want to watch the rest of them, you have to pay a subscription service that steadily increases over time.
I mean, in a weird,
Sponsored by E EA.
And permission by top. And permission by everyone else here.
The sad thing is, that's kind of what's happened with Soaring on Little Wings. The first chapter is here on YouTube as an advertisement for the fact that it's a Patreon exclusive, but the rest of it is only on Patreon until it's done.
Yeah, but the difference is when it's done, you're going to release it all for free. EA will never do that.
Yeah.
They will never give anything for free.
Yeah,
You bought our game. You want to use anything in it to give us more money.
Yeah, and to be fair, you choose how much you pay.
Mm-hmm.
Play first on Xbox One with EA access.
Please.
But yeah. So
And if you want to hear the actual Doctor's voice, not just the side characters, that's also bonus DLC.
no.
Behind the scenes,
No.
dollars.
Which cost $2.99.
Soaring on Little Wings bloopers cost an extra 5.
No, they don't. The story isn't even on YouTube, but I include its bloopers in my blooper reels.
Just monthly.
Yeah, every fucking month.
Oh yeah, if you want to see
Why
his
are we
pussy, you
talking
gotta
about
check out-
money?
Please support the official release.
Because you dipshits decided. Because Tom decided to make a remark about how apparently I'm similar to EA.
I never said that. I was taking the piss out of EA. I was taking the piss out of EA. They made the link.
I think we should call Tone, EA TA.
No,
No.
no,
And-
no.
Reply drop.
No.
Get a random
No.
of a chapter.
That will reply he was an utter shit. He's just an utter bastard. There's a difference in them.
But is there?
Yes.
Yes.
An utter.
One of the what I can explain it. One of them's a cunt and charges you for it. The other one's a cunt but doesn't.
Well, he's taking our money.
They're both.
Yeah,
Only-
but he needs it.
you're-
EA don't need it. They have too much money, EA.
Yeah, but I'm only getting money from you people when you decide to donate. I am not forcing anything out of you.
Exactly. And I don't mind
He
to
is, he's
donate.
actually holding me at gunpoint.
No, I'm not. I am not.
No.
God damn it.
Oh, lies.
Wake me up inside. Can't wake up.
Oh, I like that song.
He's not the.
Darkness, my old friend.
I can confirm he doesn't have the hit squads. That's me when everyone disses the true princess and best pony.
Yes.
The hit squads are mine.
Twiggles is the best.
Excuse me while I go make a call.
Tony, break his leg.
What have you started?
I don't fucking know what's happening right now.
Me
I may or
either.
may not have insulted Twilight.
What?
Step back. Let me do my work of insanity.
All right, expect a visit for the next few days. The boys are on it.
Who? What is happening? I lost track of the
Here
conversation.
comes the man in black.
I'll be done.
What is happening?
I don't know. I can't keep up.
Don't question it. Don't question it, Brian. Just continue
Thank you
Jibber.
guys for joining us in an episode of Chaotic Jibber Jabber.
Let us do your work.
Just don't worry about it. We also need someone to fill in his place because he won't be joining us for future Jibber Jabbers, but it's fine.
Wait, who?
Mr. freaking Twilight Heretic over there.
Which one is that?
Malifaux.
The one who's laughing like a maniac.
Oh, see,
Malifaux, you can.
okay. You see, I was worried people were talking about me there for a minute. I was like, what did I do?
That's what I was thinking
No.
too. It was like, Tone?
Okay.
All right,
Moving on.
All right.
Anyways,
next
you're not the
topic.
only one who just likes mouth for Tom. Hades just
Moving
like
on before we goddamn lose everything.
Okay.
Next.
Next
Everything,
next topic.
Anyway,
So, yes. So, Changeling courtship rituals. The first 2 chapters of that reading are now up on YouTube, and the next 2 will be coming up this Thursday and Friday.
Yay.
To any of you here who have actually bothered to listen to it,
Nope.
I did.
well, go ahead and
I like.
give your thoughts, opinions.
I'm gonna
whatever.
listen to it later.
I wasn't listening. What'd you say?
Really? You serious?
We need a repeat here, Steens.
Sorry, I was looking at my cat.
Oh, we can wait till this episode is over, then he can go back and listen.
Sorry, my cat Luna distracted me. I'm sorry.
Okay, you are forgiven. Right.
Fuck you, Luna. Go freaking shit in a kitty litter or something. I don't know.
Anyway, what did you say, Ryan, for his benefit?
I was asking for those of you who have actually read it or listened to the reading I'm doing, thoughts, feedback, questions, something.
Well, I definitely listened to the first chapter. I needed to get to the second one still. But I
A
just,
moment between Twilight and Chrysalis.
yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for pointing that out.
As the author of Change,
What the hell?
just listening to those 2 familiar
I'm going
voices.
into detail, Malifaux.
For me, just listening to those two familiar voices in a completely different context is rather jarring. But
Yep.
still good.
I need some medical attention.
Wait your turn.
Honestly,
Anyways,
um,
also, just as a heads up, I went ahead and put a ping in the general discussion of the Discord server. So,
See it.
yeah.
so
I saw.
if people actually respond to that, I might actually read some shit off from the audience, or not the audience, but other people in the server, members of the community.
People that have money,
But
people that don't have the season pass.
I mean, my thoughts so far on chapter 1. I loved how it all started off all serious and about to get up to a big, the typical fight, and it turns out it didn't
You're
reach
married
that
now.
conclusion at all.
But honestly,
I mean, I was expecting that to get hit in maybe chapter 2 or 3, but right on the bat,
Okay,
surprised me.
So, we've got our first response worth answering. It's from Hades, actually, and he asks, "What possessed you to read it?" To
Who
which,
knows?
okay, so Hades,
Money.
shut up. 1, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so yeah, 2. It's because I found it a funny story. It's relatively short. The chapters are long, but there's only like 7 of them per entry in that series, so it's not a humongous time commitment for me. So, and it's hilarious. More than once, I've actually had to stop in the middle of recording to laugh. Let's see here. Yuna Nightfree simply says she loved the Changeling courtship. Nice. Lightning Flash says, "Have you gotten diabetes yet from how cute it is?" No. No, I have not.
My comment, I had to pause because I was laughing too hard.
I mean that for one thing, that's not how diabetes works. Adorabetes, on the other hand, I've got that in spades. In fact, I got that just from writing little glimpses years ago because of all the Philly, Twilight, and Rainbow Dash shit.
Oh man, that must have been like the ace of spades.
Yeah, but yeah, I've had adorabetes for years. It's a terrifying disease where your heart feels like it's melting into butter whenever you're looking at something.
See
cute.
something cute.
Yes, exactly. Your heart melts into butter.
I had that too.
But luckily, it seems I am immune to this so far.
Tux says diabetes at 1,000 in parentheses. Tone, don't read this.
Although, you're welcome to try. My friend tried to basically.
I know,
see if
I
he
will
gets-
respond.
Screw you, big time.
Just try to keep your responses in here, guys. You don't have to write in chat. Fucking.
Anyway, Tone, I haven't been doing any listening to the readings because I've been on a burnout from a story Hades suggested to me.
Burnout, I love that game.
Let's hear.
Yes, Fallout Equestria story.
Project Horizon.
Again, not with this bullshit again.
Oh,
Shut up,
Metaphor.
Malfour.
Let's
Oh,
hear.
you shut up.
Crow the Duality King says, "So the Changeling Horde is a small one? That's a new one." Yeah, I guess it kind of is. It's usually depicted as this gargantuan thing, but Changeling Courtship Ritual seems to imply that it's about the size of Ponyville as far as population goes.
I've done something similar in my FOE fic, but only because having thousands of changelings in FOE would be unbalanced.
Yeah. So, yeah, and so far I'm definitely having a lot of fun reading it. I am hearing an echo of myself.
Probably Malfour.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Or you.
Yeah, I mean, as in like my voice is feeding back to me through someone else's headset and microphone.
Not mine.
Malfour.
Wouldn't be me.
Not mine.
This is weird.
Hey, don't blame me for fucking everything, you fucking bastard.
Hey,
Hey.
keep it civil.
Yeah.
But and
Then don't goddamn
Classy.
Blame me.
Well, hang
Because
on a
it's-
second.
I didn't say a
Because
thing.
I'm looking at the thing, and every
Yeah,
time
yeah,
it's echoing when
it-
you're
it-
talking at the same time.
Yeah, it is actually coming from yours, Malfour. I can verify.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like how he immediately denies it if it's Paladin, but actually understands if it comes from anyone else.
Yep.
Those two have a weird fucking rivalry
You
going.
see, this is why I want to
I'm
me
trying to
like
be
the
civil.
enemy here.
Jesus freaking
The only thing I'm-
Christ!
The only thing
Okay.
I'm ashamed of, I'm a days behind the second chapter.
This is why I have a bone always to pick with you, Malfoy. You always start.
Then, okay.
Okay, hey! Stop, both of you.
You're in the middle of jibber jabber.
Yeah, if you guys wind up having a fucking argument in here, I'm gonna boot you both out.
Be gone, butts.
Yeah, keep your shit contained until after and sort it out peacefully. If arguments start being thrown around, I don't care who started it, I'll finish it. Now then. Now.
Deep breaths.
Now then, class in session.
Yes. To help lighten the mood, why don't we move on to some stories of Ben, eh?
Okay then.
Oh, goody.
Why not?
Got 1,000
Okay.
likes from that.
Hmm?
Also, I might, on rare occasion, interrupt you if more comments about changing courtship rituals come floating into the general discussion in response to my ping, so just keep that in mind. I might occasionally interrupt you to address those.
The ping.
Don't mind.
Feels bad, man.
So,
Now Uncle Darkness has a story to tell.
Are you seriously gonna call me uncle? You're not even related to me, mate.
Oh, I know. I
Hey
wish I
now.
was.
well, I mean, Fluttershy is not at all related to BB, but she's basically his aunt, so.
Hmm. Okay, fair
Unless
enough.
they're an uncle.
BB, I'm missing something.
Bug in the
Wait.
basement. Story
Darkness,
hour.
you may continue with your story.
Okay, but when last left off, he fell off the bike as his bike was still going. So I had to walk up to him, and before I can even say anything, he decided to break the silence first.
Oh, God.
I know what you're gonna say, and I have to admit you were right. Oh, well, what made you come to that conclusion? Your ass on the floor, or your bike still going down the road without you? Is it okay?
Please
It's
tell me.
still go-
Please tell me he said yes.
Well, the first thing he said was this: "Is it okay? It's still going." And oh, never mind. It fell on its left side. I think it's coming to a gradual halt. Well, a screeching halt, should I say? Could you do me a favor? If it's to fetch your bike, I'm not doing it. No, can you call an ambulance? I don't feel too good, man. I mean, what's it look like down there? I ain't looking down there. I'm just gonna call the ambulance, okay? Thanks.
So did he actually
Hello?
seriously hurt himself?
Yeah, he did.
Mr.
did-
Darkness, I don't feel so good.
Yeah.
Fades
Which I
away
did
the
find out the
dust.
damage when they get here. When the ambulance got here, but they were prepared for it when I did phone them up, because it's not the first time I called the ambulance for him. Hello? Yep, it's Ben again. This time it's with the motorbike. Yep. Just down the road.
Okay, I gonna stop you there for just a second. Got some more comments flooding in that I kind of want to address.
All right then.
Yep, Luminous Starlight says, "Poor Twilight, mistakes were made." Yes,
I like that.
mistakes have been made. And
I read that one.
yeah, and Crow the Duality King has added a new comment, reading, "Now you have me pondering what a pony changeling hybrid looks like, and you're also making me ponder how it is even made." To which all I have to say is, ovipositors, my friend.
Whoa, no!
Oh. Wait,
Oh,
is
have a
did
one.
Mom
No,
make
no,
a
no,
pony
no.
hybrid picture already?
I don't fucking
Nope.
know. All I know for sure is that it'll happen with an ovipositor. Chrysalis has one, presumably. Hey! I mean, to be fair, they almost did the do at the end of the story.
Is that the dude?
Wow.
We have finally
Why?
we have finally discovered the do. Darkness, Ben, continue.
No, you don't understand. The do is everything.
Please shut up about that.
No.
I'm getting a migraine.
I am
I just want to know, Malafor. What is to do?
disgusted.
So, I mean, if you want to start making shirts and selling them at any point, Brian, as part of your marketing empire, that's a free one for you.
Help me.
Here
I'm
goes
surrounded by
YouTube
fucking
monetization.
retards.
You are a retard. We all
Whoa.
are. Welcome to Jibber Jabber, ladies and gentlemen. We are all stupid here.
I want to rip out my
Psychology
hair.
at its
Can I rip
Well,
out my
apparently
hair,
except
please?
Blank, because he says he's sane, but we all know better.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I have a small brain with a small horse and small body on top of a person's head. What's y'all's excuse?
I don't fucking know. Darkness, go ahead.
I don't
finish
have
up-
one.
Okay, Darkness.
Been in the riot suit too long.
Darkness, go ahead, finish off this story of Ben, would you?
Sure thing.
Because we seem to be going off on a lot of side tangents.
yep.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. The ambulance did arrive at last. And thank goodness for that, I won't be hearing Ben's moaning. Although not about his injuries. For some reason, he was more concerned about getting in trouble than his injuries.
He's such a child.
Listen, man, you say you can't hardly move, White. Yeah, and you can't feel downstairs, White. No? So I think you should worry about more like that than basically getting in trouble, because you might have, I don't want to say anything too bad about it, but you might have did some damage to your spine if you can't move. So I suggest that you think on that. Oh. But don't just take it like a grain of salt. I'm not a doctor or nothing. I wouldn't know. So, as they did arrive and they lifted him off the ground, yeah, it did look painful. From where he skidded on the road, it burned through his jeans straight to the skin. Oh.
Ouch.
Oh.
Yeah, that sounds remarkably uncomfortable.
Now that's where
It sounds painful.
What does it look like? It's a doozy.
I'm imagining mashed raspberries.
Mmm.
it's black.
I don't want to imagine that.
It'd be black.
Right. And, well, good luck in hospital, man, and I hope you come out of it. Will you visit me? Of course I will visit you. Promise? Promise.
Did you not visit him?
Once I make a promise, I can't break a promise.
Then don't make the promise.
Well, you never said
I
when.
know.
Visit
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
visit
I visit him whenever I can, basically. Or whenever I basically want to be more precise. Because I know he's gonna... I just had a feeling he will be fine. I mean... It's Ben. Despite the stupidity, he always finds a way to carry on.
Is that the British motto?
British.
Keep calm and carry on is one of the big mottos.
Yeah. He was in hospital for 10 days and then he came back out. Although he didn't waste any time to basically sell the bike, which I thought he wanted me to fix at one point when he wanted to ask me a favor. I was like, if it's to fix up your bike, no. Nah, I sell it. Really? Fair enough, you sold it. Okay, then if it's not that, what is the favor? Could you fix up my old mountain bike? If I do this, you promise you won't get yourself in any trouble or any harm, and you will leave me alone for a week? Okay. Good. Now keep to your promise as much as kept to my promise. Okay? Now, where's your mountain bike? And let's see how... Well, let's see what you've done to it, basically. So I went round his. The chain was rusted. The brakes were... Well, the brakes have had it, so I had to basically get them sorted out. And yeah, surprisingly not as much damage as I thought, really. I just had to get some new parts, fixed it up, and he was back on the road on a mountain bike. I mean, for one thing, he seemed to be all right on it. I mean, although he was on it about a month and 3 days until the incident happened.
Oh God,
Oh,
the
God.
incident. Anything called the incident is cause for concern. Whatever.
This is
Hmm.
foreshadowing.
Yes. As I was just walking home, I got a call from Ben. I was like, "Hello, Ben. You free today?" Yeah. Why? Because I want to meet up with you. I mean, you still ride a bike, do you? Yeah. Well, how about we have a race or something? Depends where. I think I know a good place. Okay then, Ben, where are you? I'm on my way to you. Where are you? Well, I'm currently outside, and then I heard freaking. Wait. How far are you, Ben? I'm close. Okay. Well, I'm just by the house and everything, and the next thing you know, I've been hit.
Oh.
Well, he was certainly close.
Yes.
Fucking.
So
I'm
wait,
close.
he hit you with the bike.
He rammed me with his bike. Yes. He came round the corner like a bat out of hell.
Does this man not understand brakes?
No,
he's
man.
too stupid to do.
The
No,
only
he
break
can't even
that
make
goes is the
pee.
wall.
I took a tumble, and he flown off his freaking handle.
Did
It was quite the mess.
Did he wear his butt down to the bone again?
Nah, this
The
time
true
he landed-
question is, who came out less scathed, you or him?
Well, he landed on his face because he flown over the freaking handlebar. As for me, though, I
A quality oof.
I did quite a roly-poly in pain, and then his freaking bike landed on me.
Oh.
Quite an awkward area.
Now that's what I call a bike. It's got his back.
Hmm. And then, granted, he got up and he seemed worried, until I realized what he was worried about. His poxy phone. Then me on the floor, in agony, with his stupid bike on top of me.
Hey, that phone expensive.
It's,
Our
It only
life is
cost
more
him-
expensive.
it only cost him £25. It's a
Hey,
second-hand phone.
This is Ben we're talking about. He probably has a job someplace.
I would
No,
get to
he
that.
does not. He's an idiot. He doesn't even know
I will
what his
get to
job
that.
is.
But Ben, have you currently forgotten someone that's on the floor? Oh, sorry. Is the bike okay? Ben.
Is the bike okay?
Yes, Ben. The bike looks perfectly fine.
Sir,
Allow me to run you over with it.
sir, the bike is fine. Again, it's darkness that's dead. Shall I poke the bike, sir?
Help me!
50 brownie points to anyone who gets the reference I just made.
Niet.
Darkness so bears on the ground saying, "Help me! Help me!"
You know, I think the Hello Darkness moment friend is more and more suitable for you, just the more and more
Ben
shit
is
you have to put up
God.
with.
So,
If Ben is God, that explains why Trump exists.
Yes. And that comment section just exploded with haters. I can smell it now.
oh my.
It's delicious.
I can feel that dislike button getting tapped a couple times.
I can feel Blank Page crossing his arms in annoyance and huffing at us.
But
just
despite
hear-
it was-
You just see a thing on the top left of your screen that says "blank disliked that."
Blank Page will remember this.
But slightly on the floor in agonizing pain. When I get in a rage, I think it's either instinct or basically I just ignore the pain. I immediately got back up and chased Ben with his frickin' bike.
Benny Hill theme, please.
What do you mean with his bike? You rode on him, or
Were you carrying it
I
like a
tried to
fucking
light
warhammer?
it, but then it buggered up the chain. So I got off it and I lifted up and I chased him with it still.
You were gonna use it like a goddamn warhammer? Oh, round of applause for you, Darkness. You're a fucking superhero.
Is here. Come here, boy. Better get folded. Better get folded like an omelet.
But of course he won home, and I managed to basically explain to them what happened. So why has he got your bike? Because he hit me with it, and then he proceeded to care more for his phone and the bike than me. It's currently injured right now. Is this true? Did you hit him? Yeah. But to be fair, I didn't see him. How did you not see me? I was in front of you. Wait a minute.
He was on his
So-
phone.
You were on your phone, weren't you? Did you even have a single hand on the handlebar? Well, if I did have my hand on the handlebar, how would I not basically be talking to you? You need 2 hands to talk on the phone? Are you kidding me? No. I needed the other hand because I was going to see if I got my wallet on me, and I remembered it today. Are you fucking kidding me? That's your excuse, Ben?
This is why
Really?
this is why you don't text and drive, kids.
Don't text him.
Why did he crash
Why?
into that opening?
Text him
Hey,
bike.
this is why-
I need to check my wallet was
Hey,
there.
this is why you never have a Ben.
Just don't
Yeah.
text in general.
So he was in
Available
big
in
trouble with his
stores.
mother, and he got grounded, and the bike was confiscated off him.
Who confiscated you or him or the parents?
The parents confiscated off him and basically let his old brother use it while he's in town. Once he fixes it up, of course.
So what about your injuries? Did they
Well, I
pay you
couldn't.
for that?
Well, they said, should you go to the hospital? You mean?
Oh, in the UK, we don't have to pay for medical attention.
Yeah.
Jealousy rising.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I know about that.
I need to.
Even
I
I-
need
Sorry,
to
we
look
have
at it,
basic
okay?
medical care.
I
All
am
of a
so
sudden,
sorry.
500 people moved to the UK.
I really
I
kind of
mean-
want to. This place sounds fascinating.
Just do it when the fires have
Yeah,
died down
because
from
my country
Brexit,
is so
please.
fucking boring.
I can't go there. Article 13 banned memes.
So,
Oh yeah.
if you ever want to move to the UK, wait till the fires die down from Brexit first, because they burned everything.
those fires
Living
are
on the
those,
street.
those fires are still going?
Oh yeah,
Whoa.
they've risen.
Oh.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. And the
I mean-
on the...
We could only end up with a freaking army in the streets and martial law in the worst case scenario. Not
Oh.
kidding.
Oh boy. Well.
CA
Well.
UK.
I think that's enough stories of Ben for now. Tom, why don't you tell us a few stories from when you were LARPing?
All right. So, do you want to hear about this Ring of Totally Hope?
Yes.
Go on, do it.
Well, recently my character's had a bit of development. In fact, I've joined. In real life, I'm an atheist, but my character has joined the Unified Church because, in the context of the LARP, gods exist. So I've joined as a church guard, so I guard stuff clearly in the church. Self-explanatory. But I was just sitting in there with a couple of other church members, chilling out. I had a cider. All of a sudden, one of the refs, who's also plays one time, his real name's Chris. His in-game name is Sully. He pops his head in and is like, "Oh, I've been doing some research on this Ring of Power because so far we've collected the Ring of Rage, which has gone to a guy called Ramu, who's this big cat fucker who likes to eat people, and the Ring of Death, which has gone to a Necromancer, which they've also cloned. So there's now 2 of them. Yay! The 2 evil rings. We haven't got any of the good ones yet." So he's finally located one of the good ones, the Ring of Hope, which is supposedly in another church of our whole group in another city, which is in France, which is this version. No, it's in France, which is this world's version of France. So we go over there. We're expecting, basically, our mission is we're just going to see this ring, make sure it's in good hands, and leave. It's just making sure it's safe. We arrive there. Everything looks okay, but the cathedral's kind of cobbled together a little bit. We enter. The first people we meet are, oh, do you want healing? Do you want healing? Please join us. Do you want healing? And they're just constantly harassing us with healing and joining. So we think they're mind controlled or some shit. Turns out they're not. They're just fucking nuts. But yeah, everything seems to check out aside from that so far. We meet the priest. He's a lot more sane. He actually grows one of our pie's fingers back. That's actually Sully. Because he lost them earlier.
What
So everything seemed...
from?
Yeah. And it seems they slightly... Another odd thing we noticed that they seem to be... the unified church, because we worship all the gods equally, they seem to be putting an emphasis on the god called Dogo, who is like the god of goodness, which makes sense if they've got the ring of good and hope. But that's all right. So we proceed down to the catacombs, looking at our artifacts, looking for this ring. We encounter another group of churchgoers who are slightly more sarcastic and equally as fanatical. But aside from that, the next group we encounter just before the artifacts, well, they start basically just getting in our faces, completely invading our personal space. And at one point, one of our group started walking away, saying she didn't want healing, and they paralyzed her to force her to be healed, which resulted in a Templar buddy drawing a sword and decapitating him, scaring the others off. From there, after a slight argument regarding the decapitation, we proceeded down to the catacombs and started looking at artifacts. We had, what was it? We had the severed acolyte finger, which was just a dude's finger they'd stuck on a plinth. We had the wand of healing, which was just a stick. We had the Doge bowl of Doggo, which was just a dog bowl.
Wait,
I'm not kidding. They had the bowl, which they just bathed some guy's feet in at some point. They had a group of ashes. So it wasn't really artifacts, it was a bunch of bullshit. And they also had, like, a dog's collar at some point for some reason. Like, no idea.
Here, Sparky!
Yep. Come here! It's all bullshit, and basically just for whatever as artifacts. We particularly like the just random dude's finger that got chopped off and given to the church, and they thought it was an artifact. It wasn't even preserved; it was just rotting on the plinth.
Oh my!
Yeah, but then we go down another flight of stairs. There's no more artifacts because they're waiting for them, and we meet another group. We start talking to this group, and all of a sudden we just hear snap, and my leg breaks.
Oh.
And the knee. Yeah, they just attacked us with a dramatic spell, so a fight breaks out. I get my legs, like magic, back to being good again, and we killed a lot of them. They've turned into husks, like Draugr, zombies, you know, the kind of thing you see in Skyrim and the tombs.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm
And-
aware.
It seems they've had like all the good drained out of them, leaving only the evil, which is weird because this is meant to be a place run by a ring that literally spreads good and hope. It's literally the blue power ring from Lanterns. That's what these rings are, essentially, because they've totally not stolen the idea, as well as the Infinity Stones. But yeah, so we're now very much alarmed and on full alert with our swords drawn, ready to fight. We very quickly encounter another group. I get my leg snapped again.
Jeez, they sound like they like breaking your legs a lot.
Yeah, worse this time because I was fighting one of them. I get my leg snapped, then I got double teamed, and I'm on my death counter. They took me down to no HP. Luckily, they defeat the rest of them, drag me back, and they managed to pull mana to heal me. Though we're running a lot of mana because we had a few after these few encounters we've been having. We've had to use quite a lot of our one healer's healing magic. And also a few mana on countering their spells. So at this point, we're already kind of low because we're not even that high level. We're all like apprentices and journeymen, which are like level 1 and 2. And then, but we decided to press on because, well, we're getting close. Like the magic's increasing, we can feel it. When we start the next level, we start finding blood on the walls, leading to a massive gateway that has these weird runes in it. Everything seems fine. We step through it, and all of a sudden, the ref stops us and asks, "Do we have Iron Will?" All of us do, but the healer and one of the Templars. And they go off and get the psychic whisper, and they don't tell us what's going on. So that's already unnerving. So we start going in, and all of a sudden the two that don't have Iron Will start getting increasingly angry. We encounter another group. I start fighting them, and at some point, one of the Templars got so angry that they entered Berserk and backstabbed me, and almost killed me.
Oh.
They just broadsword to the back.
Ha! Ha!
Yeah.
Ha! I am too brave to show mercy.
He was just a lot of screaming and anger. He got pacified. Even those we get up again. We're almost completely out of heals at this point. So we get up again. We continue going. At this point, we all start getting affected and have to act angry. We start like constantly shouting at each other, drawing weapons on each other. We're basically just all cohesion is breaking down. We finally reached the door where all this magic's coming from. Oh, this bit. Well, first, our Knight Templar commander, Dio in name. His real name's Luke. He goes to the same university as I do. He tries to kick the door down. This massive stone door. It's a fucking pull. We open the door. One of our scribe was standing in the way, so she got crushed to near death by the door. We are not inept in any way. So we had to waste another heal bringing her back after her door-based fatality. We then come to the blood sex dungeon.
Wait, did you just say blood? What was it? Blood? What dungeon?
Blood sex dungeon thing, which is just like a dungeon with blood sex and a random dude standing on a table with chains and shit, just staring at us. With the ring on his hand, which we don't immediately notice. He then starts casting spells at us. We have no idea what the fuck to do because we're not cooperating in a team anymore. We're just angry and want to kill shit. So we all charge in. We start stabbing away at this dude. Does fuck all. Luckily, he doesn't hit us because we're defending as well. Turns out luckily, one of us who still has a few heals left gets the idea to hit him with heal and see what happens, and it actually managed to hurt him. So we managed to kill him through several heals and making sure that he doesn't hit us through defense. After this point, we then enter the sex dungeon. We have a look around. We're very creeped out. We're shouting at each other. We want to get the fuck out and burn this chapel to the ground and kill everyone in it. Even the innocents at this point, because we're out of our minds. We can't see the blue ring anywhere. What we didn't know is that the guy who brought us in the first place, Sully, while we were arguing, he'd gone to the corpse, cut off his ring finger, and pocketed it in his bag without telling us. Our scribe saw him do it. So she pointed it out. He then tries to do a runner. We all grab him with strength and force him there, but he then dodges out. I steal his staff, so he can't do any magic anymore. But he then fucking legs it down the corridor, and we all have to chase after him in like a Benny Hill, Scooby-Doo-esque running away thing.
Scooby-Doo and sex dungeons.
Yeah.
Well, there was a Scooby-Doo crossover with Supernatural where there was swearing and Shaggy broke his arm and shit and natural violence.
I know. I saw a bit of that episode because my dad watches Supernatural almost religiously whenever there's a new season.
Yeah, people died in that. That's just ruining your childhood. Anyway, so we run all the way back, but once we pass through that initial gate, all of a sudden we just stop and like, what the fuck are we doing? why are we attacking each other? And we all calm down. I give him his stuff back. He gives the ring to our healer, and then we leave. Like, we don't burn the place down or kill everyone like we originally intended to, because we've calmed down now, we're in our sane minds. Though we do play down what happened down there and tell them that they'll have a couple of visitors to redecorate the place in a couple of days, which is a full, like, basically Inquisitor squad come to purify the place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're gonna have fun with that. We then leave, so we want to get the hell out of there. We take the ring back to the church, where we came from, and put it in a vault, because basically despite the fact it's the blue ring of hope, like, the dude who been running the place that we fought at the end, had been using it to drain all hope from people and empower himself, which had corrupted it into just basically anyone around it has all hope and goodness drained from them, and they become evil husks that eventually just want to rape and pillage and murder. So we put it in the vault of the church, thinking it'll be safe there while we talk what to do with it and continue inventorying some magical items that we were doing before, clerical work. But as we're doing that, we get told that gradually we start feeling angry again. So we would then realize, oh crap, it's still active, it's affecting what happened to their church up until ours. So we take it out, we go into a ritual, we start trying to do a ritual to purify it, which goes smoothly because we're constantly at each other's throats. All attempts to purify it fail, all of our chants of the gods don't work, so the head of the church, who didn't come with a mission, gets a shit-eating grin on his face and goes, why don't you try putting it on? I'm sure nothing wrong could happen with that. So she puts the fucker on. Immediately we start feeling better, but she starts screaming about the voices in her head. And, well, then the other ring bearers turn up and start noting about that. And from that point onwards, she'd managed to get Redfeet under control, but Un went from a mild-mannered healer to the biggest, like, bitch in the system, who hates everyone and makes everyone know it. To the point where she wants to heal our enemies more than she wants to heal us, so we have to physically restrain her during battle.
Jesus.
So yeah, that was my event.
Yeah.
Sex dungeons and angry healers.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me of a character I invented once for a D&D game I ran once. NPC party member, because there were only 2 people actually as player characters, so I needed to run an NPC for my minimum of 3 characters. And the NPC was a Tarufel, a short, squat, gnomish midget type person, very chibi, who with an aptitude for magic, and his name was Pipto. And it's not an unusual name for them, for Tarufels, or Lalafels as they're just called there. Anyway, and Pipto was an interesting case to work with because he was the group's healer. He was the white mage. He healed everyone's injuries. This was a Final Fantasy RPG, by the way. So party members get healed. It's his responsibility to heal them. The thing is typically white mages are very gentle, very kind, very caring people. They're soft-spoken, they're compassionate and considerate. That is not Pipto. Pipto...
This doesn't look like it doesn't sound like the habit of your main character.
Yeah. Pipto was loud, abrasive, had one hell of a colorful vocabulary, a thick accent, and while he was healing people more or less out of the goodness of his heart to sound kind of cheesy, he didn't initially start down the path of a healer for that kind of reason. We might go a little over time while I talk about this, because I kind of want to, because I remember this guy very fondly, because he's so much fun. Basically, what his backstory amounted to was he was abandoned as a child by his mother, who he describes as, and pardon my language here, but I gotta keep the integrity of the character here, but he describes her as a sleazy slut whose bloatfly-infested minge had no business shoving my fantastic arse out of it.
Yes.
Her slimy bloatfly-infested minge. He was very, 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 very colorful vocabulary, as I said.
Oh.
He has no problems cursing 6 or 7 times in a single sentence. He is very active in the swearing department.
Ah.
So, and just for context, this particular character and campaign was set in the setting of Final Fantasy XIV in Eorzea. I won't go over all the details of that settings, but and he was in the port city-state of Limsalominsa when he was born, but eventually a traveling merchant wound up sort of taking him in, more out of pity than out of an actual desire to raise him. Limsalominsa is not the best place for orphaned kids, largely on the grounds that there are a lot of pirate factions vying for control of lower levels and slum regions and black markets and shit. Very inhospitable, very unfriendly to the uninitiated and the unprepared. So Pipto wound up being taken out of the city by a merchant, and they traveled together for a few years before Pipto decided to stay in the forest city-state of Gridania, where he was taken in by the local Conjurers Guild. Conjurers being the first step towards being white mages, basically. So Pipto spent many years there, and even took up learning the art of conjuration and healing people, not out of a desire to actually heal people or out of compassion or anything. His mentality was more, if someone gets hurt and I heal them, they'll owe me a favor, more kind of thing. Very selfish reason.
Wow, what a dick.
Oh yeah, he is a dick, but he's a fun dick. So
What's an utter dick nugget?
and
Hey, that just be your new title.
No. Anyways, so now, though he did eventually have a change of tune, though. At one point, while helping a few other apprentices of the Conjurers Guild with work out in the Black Shroud, the forest surrounding Gridania, they were attacked by an angered Trent. They both survived the Trent, and the Trent eventually left them alone, but the boy Pipto was with, who they had some very severe clashes in the past, they did not get along, was injured. Pipto's initial response was to just walk away, but he kept hearing the other kid screaming and crying in pain, and that finally made him experience a change of heart. Because for one thing, he does actually understand that kind of pain and discomfort to a degree, and finally hearing someone else letting it out without bottling it up like he does sparked some empathy in him. So he went back, healed the person, and brought him back to the Conjurers Guild for proper attention. And from then, he did actively start pursuing conjuration with the intent of healing people, but he's still very abrasive, very rude, very blunt, and very keen on swearing, no matter who he's around. He could be in the presence of one of the most regal and royal empresses in the land. He's still going to be tossing curses around left and right.
I'd love to see that.
He was amazing to play.
Same.
He was amazing, yes. But anyway, so and one of the best things about him, he will heal you. He will save you from the brink of death. And then once you're all safe, he will give everyone he had to cast a single healing spell on the biggest earful of their life to reprimand them for getting hurt in the first place.
Wow.
You're all a fucking bunch of retards, you know that? Y'all got yourselves hurt and I had to heal you, sorry asses. Go sit down. You shut the fuck up and sit down. I'm talking, laddie. Also, he was also...
With an accent like that, I'd get hurt on purpose just to hear that.
He was a weird... He was a weird... Yeah, he was a weird combination of, like, Irish and Scottish with his accent.
I injured my leg. I need some healing and maybe a little reprimanding.
The best part is, there's actually a white mage ability in the Final Fantasy system we were using called Reprimand, which is where the white mage can select a target on the battlefield and give them a very harsh scolding, and with a successful roll, that target cannot take actions without running them by the white mage first. It has to... the white mage... They can still take aggressive actions, but the white mage can tell them, no, that action's not okay, or why don't you do this instead? and they have to do it. So what it basically amounts to is with a normal white mage, they're scolding them like a mom scolding their child. In this case, it's just Pipto
So
going.
basically,
In this case,
so
it's just-
basically you're controlling them.
and kind of, sort of, you're scaring them into submission. Whereas with a normal white mage, kind of, exactly. It's basically the stare, but without the stare part. It's just the flutter rage. Well, at least that's with a normal white mage. With Pipto, he just flies into a blind rage full of swearing and cursing and the occasional errant spark of magic from his hands while he's telling you how big of a fucking idiot you are and how much he wishes you had died so he didn't have to put up with your shit after healing you. He was
amazing, my dear boy.
He was
Simply amazing.
Yes, he was amazing to play. I loved him, and I hope for a chance to really use him in the future.
Fluttershy
deserves his own
Pipto.
story.
Out.
That'd be amazing.
And now, with all of that said, it is
Freaking
time
Tom.
for us to end this episode of Jibber Jabber. Thank you all very much for tuning in. We will see you all next time, people. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep listening. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Adios.
Bye.